So we're dealing with a little bit of a situation right now, which is this on the cheeks. Oh my god. Comparing this new juicy inflamed pimple to the rest of my acne scars on my cheeks here, we can say that it's pretty red and out there, right? I think the time of the month is soon approaching, so usually around this time I'll get a couple of breakouts. And I had a bunch of questions, people asking me how do I, cover up acne scars and marks, especially one like this. So why not? Let's take the opportunity and let me show you guys how I do it, especially on muted skin tone like mine. I look super wet and shiny. Oh my god, I'm trying out a new lighting setup, but if you're wondering what's on my face, I'm looking so glowy, right? It's this Biore sunscreen over here, and this actually dries down matte, so this is just the film itself, I guess, the sunscreen film forming over it. And yeah, without further ado, enough yapping, let's get into it. When it comes to covering up acne, a lot of people think that, okay, I'm just gonna use a concealer, right? Because as the name suggests, concealer, so you're supposed to put it on, it's supposed to cover everything. But usually what happens is that when you have such a prominent pimple like this and with a lot of redness, concealer alone doesn't actually cover it up. So usually I like to break it down into two parts. The first part is that you have to kind of change the color of the redness, get rid of the redness only, and then to tweak it to a color where it looks a little bit more neutral, a little bit more skin-like. And then you go in with a concealer, which is your second step. Also, I'm going to be realistic with you and say that makeup is not going to 100% hide your pimple. It's completely gone. Where is it? That kind of thing. No, it is still going to be visible because logically speaking, your skin right now on your face, right, skin surface, it's a flat surface. Pimple is literally a bump forming on top of a flat surface. When the light hits your face and you turn in different directions like what I'm doing right now, you still can see that bump over there. What makeup can do for you is really to reduce that redness, that obvious angry redness on your skin, and just try to blend it a little bit better into your face. There's no way to remove the bump and texture with makeup alone by itself. The only way is really to just get rid of the pimple. So the first step to deal with the redness on your skin is to color correct it. And in color cosmetics, there are a lot of green color correctors. First up, we have this face primer from VDL. This is the mint one. And then we have a green beige one from GRWM Cosmetics. And then we have one from the Sam. This is a concealer pencil. And this is the shade over here. And I must say that there are different tones and shades of green. If you are dealing with a lot of acne, maybe along your jawline, your cheek, or maybe your face like this, a green primer like this would be great to just color correct a larger surface of redness. This one in particular, the VDL one, I feel that if you are anywhere somewhat slightly deeper in skin tone than me, this one might be a little bit too light because this one has a lot of white base in it. This one from GRWM, it's still quite liquidy, but it's not as white as compared to the VDL one. As you can see the color difference in these two. We have this concealer pencil from the Sam, literally concealer in a pencil, but it's color corrector. And it is very good to actually just, draw on like this. So wait, let me swatch it for you guys. It's somewhere like a medium between these two, honestly. It's still pretty light and pastel-y, but comparing it to the VDL green one, I feel like this one is just very, very brightening. So unless you like that kind of look and still want to color correct a large surface area of acne, then yeah, I'll recommend going for something like this or the GRWM one. Also, the Sam concealer pencil comes with a little sharpener, so that's great. It really helps to make sure you get that pinpoint accuracy. So for example, this redness over here, you can just color it on like this. And then like this, right? Normally what I'll do is I'll start to tap the edges around it a little bit. So I kind of blend it into the skin, because if not, it does look like you just smack a dot of something onto your skin. I'm not sure how it's looking like in the camera right now because the viewfinder is so small. But in real life, this is not as red compared to the original you know, redness on the cheek. But you still can see that, you know, it's still there. It's more of like a darker discoloration right now that's going on the skin. Now the next step would be probably to go in with concealer. There are two types of concealers in the market in general, the solid form and the liquid form. And usually when it comes to covering up acne like this, I would recommend going in with a pot concealer. Highly recommend getting pot concealers over liquid concealers. Reason being is that the nature and formula of pot concealers, because they are stiffer, I find that they adhere much better to the skin when you just pat it on. Not so much when it comes to spreadability. This one doesn't perform in that aspect. But when it comes to, you know, you want to pack a punch pigment, it's not going to budge, it's not going to move too much, then I would recommend for situations like this, a pot concealers. I think liquid concealers, these are great. I mean, it does provide coverage, that's for sure, compared to, you know, foundations and all that. If you like to add more coverage in a more general area of your face, then yes, I highly recommend liquid concealers. Plus, they are usually more spreadable compared to, you know, pot concealers. This one, they really just like stick in place. They're not going anywhere. This one, you have a lot more wiggle room. I mean, like liquid concealers like this, you know, it's literally a little bit of this really does go a longer way. You can see it spreads so well. Comparing it to a pot concealer like T-Fit, you can see that if I were to just, oh no, it's not in focus. Please, why? Sorry, but if you were to, like, it doesn't really go that far. I mean, it does spread, but once it sets, it's just like really hard for it to go any further compared to this. And even if you look at it up close, you can see that a bit of the skin is already peeking through this area over here. And this one, not so much. You can see that it has a lot more coverage compared to the liquid side. So the one that I have right now is from T-Fit. This one is the Cover Up Pro Concealer, and this is in the neutral shade. You can see that it is pretty like well loved. And this one, I paid like $16 if I'm not wrong. For 3 shades, it's actually quite a good deal. If I remember correctly, there was like a neutral, warm, and cool tone one. But I felt like all of the very extreme undertones were very saturated with a lot of pigment. And as a person with, you know, muted olive skin tone, I feel like this one, it can pull like a little bit orange, like a tad bit. So what I find myself doing is actually, I know it looks like so messy, right? But I'll just go in and I'll start mixing shades together. So normally I'll do is I'll take the medium shade and I'll take the dark shade like this and mix it up into color like that. Because I find that a dark shade can be a little bit too dark. I just need a little bit more like brightness. And what I'll do is I'll just take this, right? And I'll just like dot it on like over here. As you can see, ooh, look at that coverage. If you're planning to get a concealer to cover up acne, pimples like this, right, I recommend to go either the same shade, most ideal, or if not, one step darker. It's safe to go one step darker, but it's not ideal to go one step lighter, because lightness, brightness highlights features. If you were to use a lighter concealer like this, comparing it to like my face over here, what you'll do is instead like highlight the pimple, which is not what I recommend doing. Usually when I do this step, right, I'm doing it before I put on my foundation. Like right now, I literally do not have any foundation on right now. So this is the first layer that goes on, because I feel that that's the best way to just kind of make sure the concealer stays underneath my makeup. When I turn my head, you still can see the bump itself, but when comparing it to earlier on, when it was super duper red and it was so angry, I mean, this is definitely a lot more, you know, toned down. Just to show you guys, I'm going to take the darker shade. It's like this over here, and we can try to cover it up on top. You can see that now this one pulls quite orange. That's why I kind of, you know, mix it up a little bit. And then later on top, we'll go in with the foundation shade itself, like your actual skin color. I feel like your actual skin color on top of this concealer, it will cover up really well. And for today's base makeup, we'll be using the Purito Cica Clearing BB Cream. I have this one in 21 Light Beige, and it's this shade over here. It pulls a little bit pink on my skin. But I think I can get away with it. Usually, I will mix it in with the GRWM Cosmetics. I'm just gonna Gonna add a bit, okay, just add a bit. Might be playing cheat a little bit for that color correction aspect. But really, this is, oh my god, I don't know how to hold my hand. Jesus, the angle is, sorry, hold my hand, wow, okay. Gonna mix it up like this. And I'm just going to tap it lightly, like right over here, over the pimple area. I do have a spare puff lying around. Just gonna tap it in. If you are someone, you know, maybe you have very, very clear skin, but you suddenly have this like one pimple that appears out of nowhere, then yeah, this technique of, you know, just taking pot concealer, just tapping some on like that, it's great. I think in that scenario, you might want to go for something that is a little bit closer to your skin tone. If you don't see yourself putting on makeup every single day, you just want something to hide a pimple, then yeah, get something that's close to your skin tone. If not, if you wear makeup frequently, you don't mind, you know, tweaking makeup here and there, like playing around with it, then you have a bit more wiggle room to choose the concealer shade itself. BB cream is on, and this is what we're dealing with right now. My skin is definitely a lot more evened out, and the pimple, it's still there. As much as you wish that, oh my god, flawless, I want to completely erase it off, it's not possible. If you really, really want, you can take like the, which one is the skin like shade? I think it's this one. Yeah. Add a bit of this. Now I'll mix these two a little bit. And then if you want like to really make sure that it does not come peeking through anymore, you can seal it off once again with a bit more concealer on top. But it won't look as, you know, skin-like, one with your skin, because, you know, you're laying it on top of the foundation or BB cream, whichever you use. And yeah. One more tip to covering up the acne spot itself is to powder it down. I'm currently using this one from, I think this is actually discontinued, the Base Zero Face Powder. You can use whatever powder that you have on hand, just make sure it's a setting powder. Reason being that when your concealer or base makeup is wet, there's like a certain sheen and shine to it, and it kind of reflects the bumpiness and texture. So I find that by making it matte, setting everything down, it actually looks a lot less obvious. Like, look at it. This is not as obvious as compared to the original, you know, like when it was still wet. Why is my camera like going in and out of focus? A very minor, subtle thing, but I realize it does make quite a big difference as well. And just go ahead and apply the rest of your makeup like as per normal, because this is more or less like it's set and locked in. Like, it's not gonna go anywhere. And yeah, let me just throw on a bit of a lip combo, because girl, I'm running out the door right now. I gotta go in a bit. Ugh. That is a chippy lip tint over here. Oh my gosh, so many of you guys were asking me about it. I'm gonna throw it in this video so you can see it live in action and give it a little while longer. It's gonna do its thing, and the film former is going to set and form. It just gets glossier over a couple of seconds. I'm like, nothing natural about this color, right? Nothing natural. But I love it. I love it. I know this video was about me doing my acne, like how I cover up my acne scars and all that. But look at it. This is not very obvious anymore. I hope this video was helpful for you, and also a more realistic take on how to effectively cover up your pimple. And also there's like no filter, no nothing, so you get the realness here. And if any more questions, drop it down below and I'll get back to you. I'll see you guys in my next video, which you can check out over here.